Good morning and welcome to our June garden tour. Today is the 21st of June, so it's officially the first day of summer, the summer solstice and the longest day of the year. I'm with my wife Connie, so let's tour our garden.
Hi everybody. It is going to rain in about an hour, and so it's kind of nice when the sun is not shining brightly, where we can really show the garden properly. And we are going to go through what we call our fountain garden, because this fountain has had some problems in the past, but we just had a landscape company put a new base on it, and it's looking beautiful now. It's not an old fountain, it's fairly new, but it has an old look to it.
Yeah, because what was happening, the base that I built, it's on a nice firm base now. The base that I built was wobbly, and so we could never keep the fountain straight, so it was always leaking. And we just passed through an arbor there with summer snow clematis, and we have another arbor right there that we're going to pass through, also with summer snow clematis. And there on its last legs is a pot of pansies that's been there for months now, but still doing a good job.
A little bit, I think.
It's a bit
I'm
straggly.
about ready, if I can find any. It's difficult now in the garden centers to find some summer annuals, but I'm going to be going shopping probably tomorrow, and I'm going to find some and plant a couple more pots. We really like the look of this because it's on a stump base, a stump from an old tree that was taken down here, and it has a lovely swirl to it, so we like to put something on it to highlight it. Although I think we have to take some of those climbing hydrangeas off of it.
Yeah, it's going kind of crazy.
It is.
What it should be doing is going up that trellis. The one plant has got there already. The others are a little slower because they've been there for what, 5 years? Would you guess now? Maybe more.
No, 7.
Oh gosh.
7 years. It takes them a while.
And a quick fire hydrangea there is blooming. Along with this lovely another clematis here. It does a nice job.
It should bloom a little bit longer, but we've been observing in the garden this year because we've had really sporadic extreme heat and then a lot of rain, more rain than usual. And so everything I've calculated based upon last year's photos, probably we're about 8 days ahead. So many of the things that would be blooming now are not blooming, and some of the things that shouldn't be blooming are starting to bloom.
So we'll go over here. For now, I'm going to skip that area there with the tarp. We'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, let's double back so I can show you again through one more arbor with yet more summer snow clematis, but so that I can show you our fairy garden. And because we like the look of the fairy garden, we've started another fairy garden just across the way here, and that's using some of the same tree trunks that we were looking at in the fountain garden. You mentioned that things are much earlier. I mean, and here's an example.
Oh, right. This is usually about June 5th or July 5th, and they're starting to bloom now. The tick seed, Coreopsis, over here, the yellow, that blooms a little bit later too, and it's just an interestingly different look this year.
Yeah, but it's the earliest that we've had daylilies blooming.
It absolutely is.
The roses have finished as well, just about, because they bloomed early. So now let's go to this area here. You may have seen some of our other videos where we've talked about reworking this area, because you can see how different it looks now compared to how it was. You can see that we used to have those arborvitae trees all the way along the fence line. Well, now we've replaced them with these emerald green evergreens, and you can also see a lot of plants in the back there. Let's go look, we've got different ground covers. So we decided what we're going to try to do is mirror the effect of the fairy garden, which is kind of gardening in miniature. And I've started to dig what's going to be a waterfall from where that mound of earth is, that will run along that faded white line there, a stream, into a pondless waterfall. So I'm trying to make it look like, if we come back here, trying to make it look as if the pond, the stream that will start there will look like it's flowing into the pond here. It will be an illusion because it will stop where that tarp is. Where that tarp is there's a big hole, which is why I've covered it so that critters can't fall in it and get trapped. That will have a pondless waterfall, so the stream will just end there, but look as if it goes into our main pond here.
And we think, we didn't intend this, but it's a wonderful design feature. If people stand at our gate and look through, they'll be able to see our pond and this brand new waterfall and stream. It's going to look great.
I think so.
It's really going to be good.
I think the illusion really will be complete. You can see, looking from the gate, you can see the way it will look as if the stream is running directly into the pond.
Right, and people have asked us, because we have another little pond near the patio, and people have asked if it's connected to the pond. So obviously they think that we have all of these little water features connected to one another.
So you can see this arbor here, the rose is finished there. It's still got some blooms. I've got to go in and deadhead. It will bloom again. Usually it does bloom twice in the summer.
Right, around September.
And the clematis is now blooming. And the nice effect is, if we go through this arbor, you can see then another clematis that's blooming. It's quite a lovely effect passing through the arbor with clematis and the finished rose to walk towards another clematis there. If I turn around, here's the other pond that Connie mentioned. Oh, and I didn't say that this railroad does run the whole length of the garden, and when I put it back together, it will run across the stream that I'm building.
Maybe we should show them Captain Picard. I got a really good look at him when I was standing on the bridge.
Let's go look.
Let's have a look at our biggest fish. We were worried a little bit about Captain Picard, who, by the way, is not a male. It's a female fish, and we discovered that when it was spawning time and some of the males were attempting to push the eggs out of Captain Picard so that they could fertilize them, and that's what happens in a koi pond. And we didn't know. We should have known, I guess, because she's kind of wide. But they're finished spawning now.
And you can see our water lilies are blooming.
Right, and this pink one is a new one we bought last year. It's quite different from the others, so we're happy that it's really thriving in here. I think we planted it in September or October, so it was kind of late. But these water lilies survive in the pond all winter. It's wonderful. And there he is. She is.
So let's continue to our front garden.
Franklin.
And there's Franklin in his favourite spot. He's ready to bark at any dogs that should dare to come by his gate. So Annabelle Hydrangea is blooming. That has been there since before we've moved into the house.
We don't even know how long it's been there. It might be one of the original features. I'll have to look. We have a picture from 1950 something when the house was for sale, and I'll have to see if Annabelle is in that picture.
And that's another one of our favourite seating areas right there. We enjoy morning coffee and afternoon wine on that little porch.
We alternate between the front porch and sitting by the pond, because the pond is very, very enjoyable, but we do spend a lot of time out there at lunch too. And another thing that's blooming right now, the coneflowers. They never bloom this early. This one is a Magnus. It's the tall coneflower. It's unusual for it to bloom at this time of year.
Yes.
Oh, there goes a rabbit.
Sooner.
We've had a lot of rabbits. This year we also have chipmunks, which last year we didn't notice any, but we've seen a lot this year. And one thing that really thrills us, we have so many robins, and I just took some pictures of a very baby robin today, a very small robin, and we love to listen to them. They're wonderful. And whenever Mark digs anything in the garden, they're practically in his lap, trying to find worms or something to eat, to do the work for them.
And they like to sit on this arbor and serenade us as we sit on our porch there.
So let's just take a look at some of the things that we planted last year and that are doing well, and also some of the things that always do well, like our little hostas are wonderful. They're starting to bloom. The lovely grayish colored one in the center is called blue mouse ears. And then they had a number of them that they would breed from them. And so we have a couple down here and some over there. And they spread really slowly, but it's such a pretty, it thrives over here. It gets partial sun, and I just love it. And then we transplanted this aster from the back garden, which was not doing well. It looks like it survived really well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see in here all of the daylilies that are just getting ready to bloom. We did a video of all the daylilies that we planted last year. There's so many of them. We planted some penstemon in the center, some carnations over here, lovely color and texture, but they have not bloomed yet. And of course we have this little plant down here called Montrose White Nepeta. Well, Nepeta Montrose White. That should bloom really soon.
And it's right next to Old Faithful there, the geranium.
Oh, that New Hampshire purple
Mm-hmm.
spreads itself around everywhere. So we can walk around the front, take a look. This Ito peony we planted, was it last year or this spring? I think it was last year. And it's doing great. We're always impressed with the hellebore leaves after they finish blooming because
look at
they're beautiful.
I'll step back, look at the size of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You can tell by the leaves there are two different types in there, but it's a fabulous plant. And then this is an area where Mark has been working on getting the creeping bellflower out of the garden, so it's blank right now, but we will plant something in here eventually.
It's still there, you can see it.
It's still there, I know, we can see it. We have some little pixie meadow bright coneflowers, some little miniature Shastas. I think it's called snowcap daisy. It's really pretty. And this beautiful hosta.
And of course we already mentioned daylilies blooming.
Right. The baptisia has finished. It's very interesting looking. I'm going to be cutting that back because underneath it there is an acanthus, and it won't bloom because the baptisia leaves are covering it.
More daylilies.
More daylilies that will eventually bloom. And those will, this is just their first year of blooming. We planted them in the fall. They were really just small scapes. And Mark can put in the comments where I buy them online. It's a wonderful Tennessee company, family-owned company, and we always buy from them. And then we have the ornamental onion that will also kind of an old faithful because it's in several different spots. This one doesn't really have many blooms yet, but it will. So we've really tried our best to fill this bed in this year because it was looking kind of sad.
Looking much better.
Looking much better. And we spent so much time in the back garden that we just haven't spent much time up here taking care of it. So, and I'm a true fan of daylilies, and there's so many different varieties.
One of the things that we've resisted is filling the gaps with annuals, because it kind of feels like cheating.
It does. It does feel like cheating. Maybe we should, especially in the front where we don't have anything planted right now.
So what we've tried to do instead, you can see, is we have pots. We have that rather lovely pot there, and then a couple of smaller pots there and on the bottom of the steps that kind of do the same thing, but maybe we should consider filling in the gaps with annuals.
It does help with the color. There are times in the garden when there's not much blooming, and that's why we do the pots, because it's just something of interest and color. And we do, you can tell by the back garden, we love a lot of color in the garden.
There's our mason bee houses. I did a video on mason bees. If you're interested, you should check it out. They're wonderful creatures, really good for the garden and come out much earlier than honeybees. And I'm nursing all of these tomato plants for our community garden that the garden club does. And there's quite a few to be potted up. So currently have beans and carrots and onions in our community garden. So as soon as they're ready to be harvested, all of these tomato plants will take their place. And then we planted this fennel for the swallowtail butterflies, and we've seen some, and we've seen some caterpillars on there.
So hopefully we'll see some butterflies at some point. And we'll know that we helped them to survive.
And so here we are, back at the pond. So thank you for joining us in the garden this morning. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye everybody.